that we do at 956sports.com. Tony Fordina along with Jake Berry and Carlos Robledo, wishing you a great Saturday morning. How has your Saturday morning been impacted by the rain? Jake and I were coming to do the show. Carlos, you actually had is it Taifa football?
No, this is 7th grade football.
7th grade football.
Central Middle School in Westlaco, my son playing for the 7th grade squad. All games canceled in Westlaco.
What does he play? What position does he play?
He plays strong guard right now in Tony V's offense at the 7th grade level.
Is Tony V scouting him? Is he looking at him, you know?
Not yet.
Not yet. It happens like that. Let's get back to the McDonald's drive-thru line in which we've got Sharyland head coach Ron Adame stepping up to join us. Coach, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, Tony. Good morning, gentlemen.
How's everything going on your Saturday morning? What do you normally break down tape and footage? You didn't play last night. What do you do today?
Well, we refocus and get ready for our game. This should have been played last night, but there's things beyond our control, and this is one of them. But we'll be ready to go at 4 p.m.
4 o'clock kickoff is what you're going to look forward to. When you're with the guys yesterday, it's always a touch and go situation. If there's a lightning bolt, you have to wait 30 minutes, and if at any point during those 30 minutes, if there's another bolt, you reset the clock. How did you prep for it?
Well, I mean, you don't anticipate things happening. We had been following the news or the weather all week long, and we had a pretty good idea that this may be a possibility. But our boys stayed focused in spite of all this. We had them in their locker room, and they stayed off their feet. And they, of course, they were disappointed when they found out we were going to have to play the following day, this morning or today. But they'd rather play, even if it'd be a day later, than not play at all.
Exactly. You want to get your reps in, and you want to, still see some action on the field.
Yes, sir. By all means.
Coach Adame, hey, this is Carlos Roberto. How you doing?
Carlos, how we doing?
Doing pretty good this morning. How do you prepare for that Tom Chavez offense? They always seem to just have a great, Tom Chavez has been around forever. They always play well. They always end up in the playoffs, either the first seed or the fourth seed, and then they win a game in the playoffs. How do you prepare for such a good coach team?
Well, we prepare a lot studying film during the week, and we've used their what they've been through last year with their 0-5 start, but then refocusing and keeping it game by game, and really their finish as a motivator for our team this particular year, starting out 0-2. As far as their offense. You asked about their offense. Well, last year they ran a spread, and I think they kind of jumped into it full time. But then you also have to prepare for their two-back tight end set as well. So, the conditions may determine that. So we're prepared for either one. And Tom is a class act in the coaching profession, and we know they're well coached, and those boys play hard on from that part of Brownsville. Their environment breeds tough individuals. So we got our hands full today, Carlos.
The split with Pioneer, are you starting to feel I don't know if you feel the effects, Ron, because I used to go to your practices and I'd see so many athletes on the field, and it just seemed like y'all just had an influx of athletes at Sharyland. So I don't even know how the split really affected you guys so much, because y'all had so much talent there at Sharyland. Are you feeling it at all?
We are, Carlos. I mean, in terms of just depth, and for example, when we go group pass, it'd take a little bit longer last year and the years before, because we wanted to make sure all our boys got to touch the football, and now we've got 2 or 3 in each position, JV on up, and so you feel it in those terms. Last year we had 3 teams. We had our varsity, our JV, and only 1 freshman team, but this year, our freshman group, we're up into the 60s, so we were able to develop 2 teams, and I think that's so key for those younger guys, for them to be playing and developing. And so, I guess things are looking better in terms of numbers with our younger guys, and we're just spending as much time in our feeder school as possible, because we need to be vertically aligned with them, and they're running our scheme of things, they're running our system, and I think that's so helpful once they become freshmen and we get them at the high school level.
Hey, Coach, let me ask you this. This is a situation you haven't been in before, where, you started the season off 0-2.
Mm-hmm.
What has it been like as a head coach to kind of have to deal with that? Because, usually you've been the hunted You know, has it been different this year?
Well, I mean, as far as the coaches go, I mean, we're hungry for a win. I mean, and you know, if you're around this profession or if you're around competition long enough, you know, you got to understand you can't win every game. And our boys, you know, they understand that. And when you put everything into perspective as far as the caliber of teams that we're playing and the competition that we're facing, you know, we realized the second year after the split with the schedule that we set up, it was going to be a little bit tougher because of the split, and it has been. But you know, I think in the long run we'll be better off. The positive, the morale around the locker room on the practice field has been very positive among the coaches as well, and we're just looking at getting better week to week.
I mean, technically, you have no reason to be negative. You've got a great squad. You've got a great coaching staff. You just got a young squad, and you need to build that up and get them comfortable with everything that you do. Different from, as you said, the middle school alignment, as well aligned as you are, there's still going to be some differences in verbiage, I would assume. You're
exactly right, Tony. That's a very good assessment. You know, but things are in place. I mean, our boys are seniors. They know what winning tastes like. They've experienced it from the junior high level on up, and you know we're following their cue. The rest of the team, the rest of the players are following the leadership of the senior athletes, and we do have quite a few juniors in the mix. You know, they were a little saucer-eyed that first game against McAllen Memorial because that was their first game ever, and it's, you know, game of the week and
at the big stadium under the bright lights.
At the big stadium. But I guarantee you, you know, today they won't be as nervous as they were 2 weeks ago. It's funny what 2 weeks of experience can do for an individual and for an overall team. And, you know, we're just looking at getting more comfortable. We talked to our boys about playing the game fast. Well, part of playing the game fast is just being comfortable with your assignments. When you know what to do, then you know you're going to be that much faster or quicker with your assignments. So that's what we're hoping week to week.
And Coach Ron, you all played against McAllen Memorial, very good team. I know you guys are a very good team. And then Laredo United, they're one of the top teams in the Laredo district. Yeah. So, you know, tough opponents for you guys. How did it feel to coach against David Sanchez, one of your former coaches at Mercedes?
Oh, David's awesome. David's awesome, man. He's, you know, it's funny that it seems like most, if not all, the coaching clinics that I go to, you see David and you see his staff there, and really, he's one of those individuals that never stops learning. When we went to the spread offense from the wing tee, you know, I realized that our quarterbacks needed a little bit different type of training. So he was the first one I reached out to, and I called, and you know, he directed me to an individual that works with quarterbacks out of San Antonio by the name of Danny Aguilar, and you know, he's been a mentor. We've faced each other here in recent years, and I've got a lot of admiration for him as a person and for the program that he runs in Laredo.
And I know, Ron, that you always give me a call. We talk throughout the season and stuff after going to Mercedes High School. We'll talk a little bit about Coach Roger Adame, your cousin over there, and what they're doing over there. They've picked up their first victory last night with a new stadium and everything that he's had to go through.
Yeah.
You know, and getting that stadium ready as an AD and head coach. Have you talked to him much here lately?
Yeah, we talked before they played Sharyland, but it gets chills. I get chills down my spine. I'm so proud of him. I'm so proud of what he's done and what he's, you know, how he's risen within the profession. And you know, a lot of people may think that he's young, but he's got a head on his shoulders, and that's all he knows. He's a coach's kid. You know, Tiger football is all he knows as far as you know, his upbringing. So I know you know, one of the things that I had heard was that, you know, he was in meetings left and right, you know, for the opening of the new stadium, and I'm glad that's out of the way, or they got an opportunity to play last night. I'm pretty sure it was unfavorable weather conditions, but you know, I'm sure that's a sigh of relief off of his back, especially with the first win as well.
When do we get the big Sharyland Mercedes matchup there? When do we get the family reunion blood battle?
Well, you know, that's one of the things that we've talked about. I won't, you know, I won't be looking forward to it, but it may be inevitable. It may be something that we can't control. And you know, as far as playoffs go, if we do happen to be fortunate enough to meet in the playoffs, but you know, maybe a pre-district game can be worked out. But you know, that's yet to be seen.
Coach, I've got your spread today against Rivera. We're taking bets. You can dial the 956 hotline. But we've got you as like about 10-point favorites. Do you guys feel like favorites in this game?
I don't think so, Jake. I mean, we're preparing in our minds to win. However, the number of points, that's not anything that we look at. I mean, we go into every contest expecting to win or in our minds preparing to win. If that's by 1 point, if that's by 10 points, we'll take either or.
All right, Coach, in a bench press contest, who wins, you or Dickie Thompson?
Dickie Thompson. That's a strong man. It's funny I'm sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead, Coach, go ahead.
It's funny, when I first started working here in 1995, I'd work out during my lunch hour, and Coach Thompson was in there, and he'd be popping up 3 plates like nothing, and curling 60-pound dumbbells, and I'm like, wow, this gentleman's strong. But got a lot of admiration for him also. He's been a mentor to me, and I look up to him quite a bit.
He's a great man, to say the least. Hey, we appreciate the time. We know that you got to get ready for Brownsville Nevada today, but we're glad that you dropped in and became part of the show.
My pleasure, gentlemen.
Hey, Coach, thanks so much. Coach Ron Adame,
Yes,
the Sharyland
Yes,
Rattlers, stepping into the huddle and joining us here on Fox Sports Radio 1700 and 956sports.com. Is it a 10-point spread? Is that what we're looking at there? Or is that just, random number that we're pulling out? Because we don't encourage gambling in any sort of way, especially on amateur athletics.
Yeah,
but
unless it's online.
if you're doing it for fun, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, no, you know what? I think they're about a 10-point favorite. I think they're a really good team. I think that you can't play McAllen Memorial that tough.
And then Laredo United the next week.
And then next week, we didn't even talk about next week, but I don't think he wanted to talk about them yet either until the Rivera game is over. But they're playing Alexander next week. So, they've got a monster schedule. And so does Rivera. Rivera's played a monster schedule.
Yeah, but Sharyland's going to be Sharyland. It's one of those years where they might not be the team that's going to go 3 deep into the playoffs. They still might. But they had Tres Barrera. They had some just incredible athletes over the past few years. I think this is going to be the year where they're still going to dominate their district. I still think they're going to go maybe 2 rounds deep in the playoffs. I think they're going to be just fine. They got a great system over there, and they got the hosses. Man.
We can talk about several other teams who would love to go 1 round deep in the playoffs. And Coach Adame is a tremendous coach. He's got a great staff there built around him. And, it's one of those things, like, there's no reason for him to be down. Like we talked about, they take on Memorial, they take on United. Today they got Brownsville Rivera. And I've often said the Brownsville teams are often underestimated because you see them play each other, and it's not technique-wise, it's not the best technique. The scores may be deceiving, but when they come up and they play the Upper Valley teams, that's when you see the cream rise to the top. And a lot of times the Brownsville teams, they defeat the Upper Valley teams. I don't know if it's a rope-a-dope thing that they're doing there at BISD. It could be, but it's one of those things where if it were to happen, and if they were to upset Sharyland, as we're discussing the point spread, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't be a shock.
What is it? They beat McAllen. Rivera beat McAllen 2 years in a row in the Phi District.
Yeah.
And Brownsville Veterans also, they won last year, and they continue to do very, very well. There's different philosophies out there. Some of them say that, well, what happens is, in the old 31-5A is that, they beat each other up so much that by the time they get to the playoffs, they're tired and they're run down, and they're because they just played each other so hard and so much. And then the other philosophy is just Brownsville just gets better. They get better, and Tom Chavez is a very good coach, and he knows how to coach his team. He knows how to coach him up. He knows how to scheme. And you give him time to watch film, and he's going to come out and he's going to beat you. And I think that probably is the case because I talk to other coaches, and they say, "Oh no, here comes Tom Chavez again. We got to be careful for him." And watching tape and scheming and do that goes a long way. When you have the athletes and you have a good coach, a lot of good things can happen. Don't underestimate a good coach.
And if you've got a great coach and maybe mediocre athletes, he can get the best out of them. And on any given day, you defeat the other guy.
Absolutely.
Very simple. Want to thank our great friends at McDonald's for hooking us up, along with Christina Sala, State Farm Insurance Agent. They're making the huddle possible. Don't forget, you can tweet at us at 956Jake, at 95649. Carlos, you're at 956_Carlos, right? Perfect. That's where we want you to hit us up at. You can tweet at us. You can always like the Facebook page, facebook.com/956sports. And if you want to hit us up here at Fox Sports Radio 1700, you can go to facebook.com/Fox Fox Sports 1700. Hit us up on Twitter at hashtag Fox Sports 1700 as well. We're going to take a break. We're going to pause for commerce. More local Valley High School football coming up here in the Huddle on Fox Sports 1700 and 956sports.com.